Back to the book. My indoctrination period was over. I had been blooded, but survived. I had been embarrassed, but would recover. The early shocks had been merciful in that they were over quickly. I could now turn my attention away from the self-conscious concerns of how I would fit into this alien environment and how I might be perceived by the soldiers I led. I could concentrate instead upon improving my style of leadership and fighting the enemy. There was much to do. For too long, the platoon had done only those things necessary to minimize casualties, an approach that in the long run would surely lead to maximum casualties. So, you want to sit back, you want to hide, you're letting the enemy get a drop on you. And he knows that. You got to take some risk up front to prevent the long-term extreme risk. Back to the book. An old army adage claims that soldiers only do well that which their commander checks. In combat, everything must be done well. Yet I realized I couldn't possibly check everything. But I could create the illusion that everything was being checked, especially if I used the squad leaders and the platoon sergeants as extensions of my own will. So, a little bit of decentralized command there. He knows it. He can't inspect everything. He can't be everywhere all the time. But if he uses proper decentralized command, he can make it happen. Because his leaders, his subordinate leaders, will make it happen. Back to the book. Not only tactics, but all matters relevant to our life in the field had to be supervised. For instance, health habits had to be inspected as diligently as weapons were. Soldiers have to be kept clean. They have to shave and wash, and the squad leader has to see that they do. Soldiers need a place to relieve themselves, a place secure from both enemy and the disease. Mess equipment has to be kept clean, and soldiers need a balanced diet. Feet must be cared for. A squad leader is accountable for the changing of socks as he is for the cleaning of weapons. Men on alert must stay awake no matter how exhausting the preceding hours have been. Radios have to be monitored, kept dried, and supplied with fresh batteries. Proper communication procedures must be maintained. Codes must not be compromised. Positions must be constantly improved. The claymore mines have to be checked, camouflaged, and recamouflaged. Trenches have to be deepened. Firing positions must be made more lethal to the enemy. Artillery fires must be registered and re-registered. Grass adjacent to the wire must be kept cut. The ammunition bunker has to be kept dry. Soldiers must rehearse in all combat situations that may be expected of them. The functioning of the chain of command must be clearly understood by all the men. In combat, leaders are quickly attrited, and every man in his turn must be prepared to take over the mission. Lot of stuff to handle. That's why he's saying he can't do all that himself. You have to use decentralized command in these situations.